Nepalese dress with the topi hats, which those hats made sometimes of felt or wool, but almost looks military in their design. Sit atop. Lots of spectators' heads all around, bright colours. As we see Liam Dawson, who took a wicket in his first over, bowling from our end of the ground now, the shadows lengthening. And the left arm spin immediately sees a run taken into the onside. They're pushing hard for a second run as well. Throw comes in, loose throw from Luke Wood, and 2 runs are taken to put the pressure on the England side. This partnership worth 30 off 17. 72 for 2. The target, 185.
Harry Brook just slowing things down again. So getting hold of the ball. It's a trick Owen Morgan used to do, wasn't it? That he'd get hold of the ball so that the bowler isn't nervous at the top of the follow-through. Give them a second to think about things.
So this meeting in Lahore, Bangladesh and Pakistan representatives. Any idea when we might know a little more?
Come back to after this ball.
Here comes Dawson once more. This is a bit quicker and flatter, clipped into the onside. Again, they'll be looking for 2. I don't think there will be a second as Bethel's sprinting in from the leg side.
Quick Bethel, isn't he? That's the definitely the 2 batters there. I've noticed the fielder, noticed who it was and thought, because it's not gone far from where the previous one went, but with Bethel flying in off the boundary, just think, right, we'll settle for 1 here, not do anything silly.
Bethel walking in, round the wicket, tosses it up, driven down the ground for 1. Every single run applauded, cheered to the rafters. 73 for 2.
Back to the Lahore question.
Yeah.
Whispers that we could hear from one side or the other yesterday, another statement that we heard yesterday that we could hear from something in the next couple of days, which would have been today or tomorrow. I think the meeting is going to go on late into the evening here, so it might not be today.
Dawson with a round arm action will get the ball pushed into the offside to the left of Harry Brook at cover. With 1 run taken, 110 needed from 68. The partnership 33 off 20, the required rate 9.7, so not out of reach. Tough ask, not an impossible one.
Definitely. Yeah, they've kept it under 10 all the way through, haven't they? That good couple of overs, the second and third over of the innings, Jofra Archer's over and then Luke Wood's second over went for 14 and 15, I think it was. Ever since that point, they've just managed to keep it in check.
And we'll know if they break this partnership, it'll go a long way to winning them the game. But they have got to break it. Dawson, with a ball that comes off a leading edge and drops short of all.
That's why you need a silly point, don't you? I've gone straight to a silly point, the easiest catch in the world, but I'm not sure I've ever seen a silly point in T20 cricket.
Paul's batters apparently have already scored more runs with a sweep than England managed throughout their entire innings. It's been a really profitable area for them. Final ball of the 9th over. Here comes Liam Dawson. And that's defended. There won't be a run there. So Dawson goes to just 5 from his second over. And this is what England need from him. Just somebody to hold up an end. Consistency, knows his game, vastly experienced. He takes his glasses from the umpire, trudges off. He's got a very familiar walk, Dawson. It's a sort of halfway between a plod and a swagger.
Yeah, it's a good description. Yeah, he almost looks a bit heavy-footed as he goes, doesn't he? Yeah.
But there's a rocking of the shoulders as if to say, I know what I'm doing here. Whereas I always imagine I walk as somebody, well, I certainly feel like somebody's got no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one to judge on posture, the most hunched. I always get told I'm surprisingly tall because I so very rarely stand up straight.
How tall are you?
6'3".
Are you?
I think. See, you're surprised.
Yeah, well, I can see it because you've just stood up really straight, actually. Here is Rashid. First ball that he delivers from the far end goes straight to Will Jacks at backward point, and the required rate does the turn, both the conventional leg break and the googly back in towards the right-hander, but it's also that big mix of pace. That one speared in flatter towards the boots of the right-handed Irie, who wait with a little bit more flight, but the batter picks it. Beautiful shot, reverse sweep over the infield, and for a 1-bounce 4. Lovely shot, 80 for 2.
That's what Tom Banton tried earlier, wasn't it? He tried the big loopy reverse sweep, to a full delivery. He missed his, but this one's been nailed up in the air over the two fielders behind square and the offside in the ring. It's a pretty safe shot once you get bat on it.
The bearded Rashid is in, down the leg side it goes. Fielder has to work his way round to his right, and it's Liam Dawson who does well. He may be a bit ploddy in the walk, but he's very nimble when he gets going.
Confuses me as well, because he's one of those bizarre left-arm bowlers that throws from the deep with his right hand.
Yeah.
Just who's that there? Fine, at short fine, but it's Dawson throwing with his other arm.
Rashid in. And smacked away, over cover, out towards the deep. Two fielders running round. I'm not sure it'll be stopped. And indeed, the ball wins the race. And so another expensive over from Rashid. 85 for 2 at the midway stage. And exactly 100 needed from 60 balls. These two have put on 43 from 28. And no wonder those Nepal supporters at the far end, who are a sea of red and blue, are enjoying themselves, because they've got more than a chance in this game. They've given themselves a lovely platform, and the next 5 overs are going to be vital. You'll enjoy them or endure them, depending on who you want to win this game, in the company of Prakash Bokanka, after some more from you, Matt Henry.
Yeah, Rashid's just in conversation with Jos Buttler, his former captain, there at the end of that over, because he's going around the park is a bit strong, but he's gone for 23 from 2 overs. It's another expensive one with those 2 boundaries to finish, and it's problems for England a little bit. 100 needed off 60.
The important words there being little bit. I think England still have just too much there, but here's Dawson starting a fresh over, driven straight back to the bowler, who feels of his own bowling by Irie, Deepinder Irie, who's on 25 of 18. His batting partner.
The only thing I will say, Prakash, is that the 2 bankers in England's bowling attack are Rashid, who's gone for 23, as I say, in 2 overs, and Archer, whose first over went for 14.
But the second went only for 3. So look at the positive side. Here's Dawson with 3 men in the ring on the offside, 1 at 45 on the on, the other fielders on the onside deep on the boundary. And here's Dawson in now to bowl. And flashed away, my word, that is some shot. Slap, flat batted over the extra cover area for 4. That's really got the Nepali supporters up on their feet now. And the total moves to 89 now in the 11th over. That was a terrific shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's just throwing the hands at it and hit it flat and hard. Harry Brooks, the fielder, extra cover, and he's in off the 30-yard ring, which I don't think he'd have got there. Was he all the way back? He's 10 yards or so in. Was he back? I don't think he'd have got there, but it just took any chance of that out of the equation.
How does Dawson respond with a quicker ball turned away on the onside? They'll scamper through for 1. That's all they'll get, as Rashid somewhat slowly gets to the ball and makes sure there isn't a second run. That brings Rohit Bordal, the captain, on strike. He's on 20 of 17. And Dawson in his 3rd over stands square, just facing the bowler. Both hands come together, and then 2 steps, and then he breaks into that little 2-3 step run. Big swing and a miss. That was aimed to go outside the Wankhede Stadium. All it did was ended up in the gloves of the wicket keeper, Jos Buttler. Cleared his left leg, closed his eyes, and had a swing. The Nepal captain there. How does he respond now? His partner striking the ball well. All that Bordal has to do is what he's done just now. Just turned around the corner and handed the strike back to Deepinder Irie, who's on 30 of 20. He's played a good hand so far. And as we've seen through the tournament so far, the 5th game of the tournament, the associate nations have done more than compete, at least for a period of time in each of the games. Dawson now into Irie. He's up, he bowls, and Irie to a ball that's coming back in, plays it beautifully, and superb bit of fielding from Dawson, now diving away to his right and fields the ball right at the feet of the non-striker. Struck firmly and might have got him 1, maybe even 2 runs, but wasn't to be, thanks to the efforts of the bowler of his own bowling. 91 for 2. 11 overs have been bowled, 9 overs to come, 94 from 54 balls. That's the equation. Very unlikely as Stephen Finn slips into the seat alongside me, Finney, but Nepal can feel good.
Giving themselves a chance, aren't they? Giving themselves a chance. Played some really good percentage cricket, waited for England to miss and have been dismissive when they have done so. And yeah, they deserve to be at 91 for 2. They're going to have to keep going. This partnership though, 49 from 34, certainly given them a chance. Sam Curran being introduced into the attack in the 12th over. That's one of the strengths of this England team, is the fact that they're not just relying on 5 bowlers. They've got people who can pick up the slack if it's not someone else's day, and Sam Curran is famous for enjoying these kinds of situations, to be the man that drags England over the line.
Yes, he's performed admirably, and Indian fans will remember, if anyone's listening, Sam Curran's exploits here. He is now left-hander with the wicket. That is wide. One more to the total. 90. 2 for 2 now. 50 run partnership, 35 balls. 19 contributed by the skipper, Rohit Paudel, and the man who replaced the last batter. Irie has added 30. He is waiting now for Curran. Slower ball, he dances down the wicket and threads the needle. Beautiful shot, he waited on it, saw the ball, probably gave away too much, Sam Curran, as he bowled that really slowly. He waited, did Irie, and then punched it through the extra cover area for 4. Lovely shot, 96 for 2.
He advanced down the pitch there. And as Sam Curran released that ball, the moon ball, he's introduced into his game over the last 12 months or so, stopped at the top of his backswing and waited for the ball to pitch just in front of his left toe, and then threw his hands through the ball, kept it all on the ground, and benefits of 4 runs were played.
Good shot by the skipper for Nepal. Here's Curran in again, bowls. This one's turned away fine. There is a man down on the boundary. Lookwood, and there will be a single. Nepal skipper will scamper across 4. 97 for 2 now. The required run rate well over 10 now, 10.15. And I think, as you said, Nepal giving themselves an outside chance here. Even though the wind predictor feels it's a lot closer. 52-48 is what the wind predictor says, but I think it's far more comfortable for Nepal, as this one's for England, I beg your pardon, driven away into the covers for a single by Irie, wearing jersey number 45, which conjures up different images here at the Wankhede Stadium because of their favourite son, former India captain Rohit Sharma.
Is he the favourite son?
Well, currently.
Current favourite son. The youngest son.
Yes,
the youngest favourite son.
The latest. The youngest, latest. Because Surya is not young, so he can't.
That's true.
Can't carry that adjective alongside his name. Here's Curran in now. Bowls, and Paudel makes some room, looking for a big shot. Doesn't get enough on it. You just get a single to Archer, who comes off the boundary at long on fields. Floodlights taking good effect now as the local time inches towards 6 p.m. It's 5:43 now, and with the 12th over in progress, 8 overs to come after this one's completed. And if Nepal are to get close, they're going to need a flurry, but doesn't seem to be at the moment. Good ball played away on the offside. England wouldn't mind them taking these singles. They're not hurting them at all. 100 comes up though for Nepal for the loss of 2 wickets. Now they can really stand up and say that they've competed at least this far in the innings, in the chase of 185. And it's just been that England's batting has delivered a total which one just feels is a bridge too far for Nepal. How close can they get, I think, is the question, at least in my mind. Current run rate just shy of 8.5.
Yeah, they can game cool guy.
Down the wicket comes Deepinder Irie. They take an impossible run in there. The direct hit at the non-striker's end. That was the end of Deepinder, one feels, but as it turned out, the throw did not hit and the run accrues. 101 for 2 at the end of 12 now. 10.5 runs required in the last 8 overs.
Yeah, they've got to keep their intent, and they are very much Nepal here. England just has to try and bowl intelligently, limit those boundary options early in the over, and if they do get a wicket, that's the time to squeeze and really heap the pressure on, and it's in those moments that the run rate will really escalate. So England at the moment just hanging in there. Got to keep it simple.
Archer getting ready for his third over. His first went for 14. His second, which was bowling well within himself and trying a few variations, went just for 3. He'll now want to look at breaking this partnership, which is worth 59 of 41 balls. And Archer is ready. The man on strike is going to be the Nepal captain, Rohit Paudel. And he's got a ring of 4 men on the offside inside the ring. Sweeper cover backing it up to complete the field. Archer is in, bowls, and Paudel is hitting that a little bit in the air, but well short of the man at extra cover, which is the England captain. 84 of 47.
Yeah, leg cutter again from Archer. Clearly he thinks with his height and his ability to get his fingers down that left side of the ball, where the ball will just hold in the surface, especially against batters who are probably wary as well of the fact that he could send down a 90-mile-an-hour bouncer just through the shot early.
Banton's moved in closer at short extra. Once again, a big swing and a miss by Paudel. He's looking to play the big shot, but maybe not quite in the right sort of position to play the shot. Both those strokes, the one that he played of the first ball, which was a slow one, got through it early. Lucky it didn't carry. And this one was a bit of a wild hike.
Yeah, that leg cutter slow ball again from Jofra Archer.
Yeah, it must be strange. You know that a thunderbolt can come any time. And this time he waits, he helps it round the corner, he'll only get 1. I think that's the difference in terms of quality of batsmanship. A more accomplished batter could try and do something a little bit more with it, generate the pace. But at the moment, 1 more to the total, which is moved up to 101 now for 2. And Jofra Archer continuing with Irie on strike. 101 for 2 in the 13th over. Here's Archer in. Bowls. Oh, good ball. That was the quick, sharp bouncer that you've been wanting, Vinny. And he does well in the end, does Irie, to just get away from it, swaying away, and manages to ensure there's no damage. And in doing so, he did try, though. You have to give him credit. He did try to play the ramp. I think his first purpose was to make sure he's away from the firing line of that
head
one.
out the way of it.
Yes, that was quick. That was well directed, more than quick. Archer turns at the top of his run. Now he's put the doubt in the mind of the batter. How does he go in and bowl? Goes in, bowls, and this time it's gone up in the air. Is there a fielder there? No, I think it's going to drop safely. Single is all they'll get. But here is where now the inability maybe of the Nepal batters, these two, even though they've put on 60 or 61 runs together, to try and play the decisive stroke. They're probably a little too eager now, you get the feeling.
Yeah, well, we mentioned 1 over of a few dot balls and a few singles interspersed in between will make that rate escalate. It's now 11.44, the rate required for the rest of the innings. So Archer doing a good job for his team here.
Here's Archer in again, bowls. This one struck firmly in the gap, but not timed well enough, so single is all they'll get as it's fielded off the deep mid-wicket boundary. 1 more to the total, which inches along to 104 for 2 at the end of 13 overs. The required run rate now almost 2 runs a ball, 11.5, and that's what England would want. They'd want to get that up way beyond the capability of these two, and someone's going to have to try out of these two to really take the bowling on, even if it means they lose a wicket.
Yeah, and that bowling looks as though it's going to be Adil Rashid, who, with his wrist spin to the 2 right-handers, bowling to the slightly larger boundary, which is the leg side. He's probably bowled a bit slower than I'd have liked him to today, Adil Rashid, and that's generally what's happened across the latter stages of his career. He's preferred to bowl a touch slower, but today he's been very slow. Let's see if he can generate a bit more pace on that ball into the surface, challenge the batters to hit to that bigger boundary.
And this pitch, of course, not really offering any pace off it, so the ball has tended to come off very slowly. Change of personnel as Archer comes into the circle. Rashid bowls, swept, and Archer straight away fields, decides against throwing, realizing that he's the non-striker is going to be back in the crease. So the more aggressive of the 2 batters now back on strike. Dipinder Airy on 33 of 25. This needs to be a biggish over if Nepal want to give themselves a stay in contention. Flatter, quicker, driven up towards long off for a single. 106 now for two, and the run rate inches up further, closer to 12. 79 runs required of 40 balls. Very, very unlikely now, it seems. Shot pulled away, and this will go all the way, does it? Yes, it does. So 6 runs, a welcome 6 for Nepal. That brings the Nepal fans back up on their feet, and they might just believe again momentarily. 112 for 2 with that 6, but they need a few more of those to put any pressure on this England bowling lineup.
A googly from Rashid, but too short and too flat, and able to just rock back and hammer it over deep square.
Yes, the Nepal skipper there getting hold of it. This time he's pulling it away towards mid-wicket for a single, and that'll take the total up to 113 for 7. Once again, the slowness of the ball and of the pitch evident as we watch the replay of that 6 hit by Rohit Paudel. And Dipinder Airy on strike to Rashid. Rashid bowled, and this one's driven beautifully. What a lovely shot that is. He's played some terrific cricket, has Dipinder Airy, and this one was creamed through the offside. Beautiful shot, and the total moves to 117. Rashid continuing to be expensive. This over's also now gone for 13 runs. So Rashid with some thinking to do. Last ball of the over coming up off the 14th. Rashid is in, angular run opposed, and this one's been reverse swept over the field. That's 6 more. That turns out to be a big over for Nepal. Is this the over that makes them believe again? Terrific shot from Airy. He's raced up to 44 of 28. 19 runs coming off this over. Finning 123 for 2.
Well, he's read Adil Rashid like an absolute book there. That over. Rashid for 5 deliveries, looking to bowl flatter out the front of his hand with the 1 googly that was pulled for 6 over deep backwards square leg. The very last delivery, Rashid's thrown a lollipop up there, a really slow one, loopy one. He switched his stance around and hammered it up over the offside if he was standing as a right-hander, but because his feet had switched, it was as though he was playing a left-handed sweep out towards the left-handed leg side boundary, and it sails miles over deep square or deep points. Head for 6, so food for thought for England, food for thought for Rashid, who's been met so far, none for 42 from his 3 overs, and this will be a welcome drinks break just for Harry Brook to try and realign the troops.
Yep, Stuart Law is out there with the 2 batters, giving them some instructions, no doubt. The Nepal Rhinos, as they're called, in fact their badges on their helmets have the Rhino and the Nepal flag together, and they certainly at the moment are on the charge. One does feel even now that 62 of 36 is a tall ask, especially given the resources available. Archer's got an over, Wood has got 2 up his sleeve, Dawson's got 1, Jacques has 2, and if required Curran has 3. So there are enough options for Harry Brook to choose from, and he might actually look at the slower bowler. Dawson certainly will bowl his over 1 fields, as would Wood, because he's bowled well. 2 overs for 17, Luke Wood.
Yeah, you'd be tempted to bring Wood back now. I'd say you might want to just hold Dawson for 1 or 2 overs, as he feels as though the way that he's bowled and the control that he's had today as a finger spinner has been the most dangerous bowler for England. But Luke Wood back into the attack. The left arm angle across these 2 right-handed batters with the off-cutting changes of pace might just bring England a wicket, but they do need a wicket here. 62 from 36 with 2 in batters is by no means inconceivable, and Nepal have got that rate down to just over 10 now.
Yep, 81 runs. This partnership worth of 53 balls, and this is where I think the ability to handle the pressure, keep calm, look for the percentage shot while aiming to get the runs required. But there is certainly, it's made England think. It's not been a cakewalk, as we've seen in most of the games so far. Look at Pakistan versus Netherlands, was close. India had a real scare against the USA last night, and England, I wouldn't say scare, but certainly being made to think. You can see the conversations happening in that huddle as the players got a drink, and who is going to bowl the next over. Looks like Curran's got his... No, it is...
That's Sam Curran.
It is Sam Curran, yes it is. The change of ends for him. He's going to bowl now from the broadcast end, having bowled his first over from the pavilion end, and Brook in conversation with him, setting the field. Give that to you in just a moment as it settles. Short third, backward point, sweeper cover. Man moving away into deep extra. And Brook is going to stay inside the ring at mid-off. Man dropping back to the long gone boundary. There's a deep mid-wicket and a deep square leg. That's the field then. It's all set. Just getting it, getting the two fielders behind the wicket at backward point at short third in the exact position that he wants. Harry Brook, who is himself at mid-off, just at the edge of the circle. He'll walk in, no doubt. Jack's below us at long off as well. What does Rohit Paudel do? This is such an important over. You just feel it's a pivotal over. Current bowls, full toss, driven away on the offside. They'll only get one. Racing off the boundary is Banton, I think it is, who gets there very quickly, sends the return into the keeper. 15th over in progress. 5 to come after this. Required run rate 10.46. So 61 runs of 35 balls. Tough ask. But the Nepal supporters, I think, have got their money's worth already. The team has played really well. This one's been hit in the air. This is going to be out, I think. It's Banton getting underneath it, and he takes the catch at short extra. Rather, at extra cover. Just coming off that boundary. And that's the wicket they were looking for. Sam Curran strikes, and Nepal lose their third wicket at 124. And this is probably it, for the simple reason that for a new batter to come in and settle down will take some time.
Yeah, it does take some time. It's such a shame for Nepal. The drinks break just looks as though it sucked a bit of momentum out of their sails. An off-cutter, a slow looping off-cutter by Curran, wide of off-stump, with the field set, with a deep point and a deep extra cover, inviting the batter to take on that big boundary with the left arm angle going across the right-hander. And Irie, who played really well, 44 from 29. That one coming right off the toe of the bat and looping to Banton, who makes no mistake at deep extra cover. And this is England's opportunity to squeeze. They have to squeeze here, get that rate right back up towards 12, 13 and over, and then from there it can escalate for Nepal. But that partnership was excellent. A shame for them that it's broken.
Absolutely, but from an England point of view, just the wicket they needed. Once again, a break for drinks, proving to be something that made things happen out there in the middle. And the new man is Mohammad Arif, who is on strike to Sam Curran. No real change in the field. Here's Curran in bowls, and Arif's beaten by a quick delivery that leaves him. That's what will happen. The new batter will take some time, and that'll chew up a few deliveries, taking the rate up further. It's now past 11. That was the off-cutter, and not able to quite get hold of it. It was there, and there could have been a chance. Agony on the faces of Nepal supporters as that catch was taken.
Yeah, they deserve to be at 91.
Disappointment writ large. Completely understandable. There's Curran in again, left arm over the wicket, into bowl to Arif. Arif gets bat on ball, pushes it away into the cover region, and just take one. Now it's up to the Nepal skipper, you feel, Rohit Paudel. He's been there for a while. He participated in a big partnership with Dipinder Irie, who's just been dismissed in this over. He's on 39 of 31, and if he wants to go down in history as one of the greatest, then he's got to try and do something big here, because the run rate now is required is 11.25. They need more than just 1/6 in every over. There's Curran bowls, and he tries to play the reverse ramp, but Curran's alive to the situation and make sure that he bowls it just back of a leg, not allowing the batter enough time.
It was a Dill scoop style, wasn't it? It was
yes. Except that Dill scoop was much lower, wasn't it?
Yeah,
with his head down.
Dipped his head, yeah. It was
almost the first no-look sort of stroke.
It was so ahead of its time.
Yes. Tilak Ratne Dilshan. What a batter he was. Innovative, to say the least. Here's Curran bowls bouncer, and he gets underneath it, stares at the square leg umpire, who is not going to declare a wide ball. And that is the end of a very good over. Just the 1 run and a wicket. 2 runs and the wicket for Sam Curran. And now an even 12. So 2 runs per ball. That's the simple equation as the 15th over is completed. And to take you through to the end of what I suspect will be an England win, by how much is going to be Henry Moran after a word from Stephen Finn.
Well, Prakash doing his absolute best to do a commentator's curse on England today. You're trying hard, Prakash. I'll give it to you. 60 from 30 does seem like a tall ask, but it's one big over, one partnership, and Nepal have to retain that hope that they can. But I think this is a good decision by Harry Brook. Liam Dawson, who's been the pick of the bowlers today, for me, comes into the attack to complete his allocation, to bowl his 4th, but to try and turn the screw at a critical stage of the game.
Well, whatever happens, England have been given a bit of a fright here. Yes. I think that is fair to say. 15 overs gone, 16 needed from 30 balls on this sultry Mumbai evening. In comes Liam Dawson, gripping that ball in front of him. Round arm action, leading edge. Of Harry Brook will be breathing a little easier, and it's amazing at this point in an innings where 1 dot ball and the net run rate, the required rate leaps up 0.4 from 12 to 12.4. 60 needed from 29. Something's distracted. Umpire Tucker. I've just been up in the stands, Finney.
Hello. How is it?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Great. It sounds great out there.
Here is Dawson. Round the wicket and punched into the offside, and there'll be no run. In fact, there'll be a single, forgive me. What's amazing is that every time there's bat and ball, there is the most enormous cheer, and then it'll only subside when they spot the fielder, the fans. It's never the other way round. It's never you wait to see what it's doing and then you cheer. It's you cheer with the assumption it's going to be a boundary. And then only then do you think, okay, well, no. 59 needed off 28. Dawson, again, walking in, round the wicket with his left arm spin. Smacked into the leg side. Could be a chance of a catch, and it is. And that should be the game. Very good low catch at deep mid-wicket from Phil Salt. Dashing in from the boundary. It was one of those that was dipping on him. But Salt with the catch. And that should be the game for England. This fine partnership, having come to an end in the previous over, sees both of the set batters now back in the pavilion. Harry for 44 now. Paddle, the other row hit in these parts, goes for 39. It's 126 for 4.
Excellent from Dawson. Simple from Liam Dawson. He's been exemplary today. 2 for 12, 2 for 18 from his 3.3 overs. Just checking the catch from Phil Salt, but it looked to me as though he caught it around knee high. Just having a look whether he scraped the ball along the floor, because particularly funny about that, the TV umpires at the moment, yeah, his fingers, he's caught the ball, that's absolute certain, around knee high, but it's then, has he dragged the ball along the floor? He's still got both hands clasped around it as his hands hit the floor, so it seems inconceivable that the ball could have ever touched the floor. And the white that we can see is taping on his right hand, on his right little finger. And the batter's accepted he's out. He's already off the pitch.
There's a few in the crowd that are rather hopeful, but I'd be surprised if this was overturned, just because there's not evidence to do so. And the decision pending will eventually say, on that big screen, out.
Oh.
So there you go. The dismissal stands. And I think that is the right decision as well, Finney, because...
Absolutely it is, yeah.
There was nothing doing when it came to evidence to overturn it, albeit the spectators were rather optimistic that there might be. So we see Lokesh come to the middle. Lokesh Bam. And if ever there was a name to suggest some big hitting, Lokesh Bam is quite a good one.
Yes.
So 127 for 4. 58 needed from 26.
That's onomatopoeia, isn't it?
Nominative determinism. It's a bit like when there was the Belgian defender called Mark de Man. It's always a good sporting example. Here is Liam Dawson. 2 balls left of an excellent spell. 2 for 19 so far. Moves in and round arm and worked into the leg side where 1 run will be taken. 128 for 4 with 57 needed from 25. Or if Phil Salt worked in the brining industry, say.
So what's onomatopoeia then?
It's when a word is a sort of sounding word, so click or clap or crunch.
But bam is like in a comic.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
You know, in a comic where it goes bam.
Yeah, okay. Here is Dawson. Worked down the ground for a single. Dawson finishes for an excellent debut in World Cup cricket, remarkably, on his 5th World Cup tour. 4 overs, 2 for 21, 10 dot balls, and he's been the pick of England's bowlers today. No doubt about that. So 4 overs remain, and Nepal still need 56 from 24. The required rate is 14 exactly an over. Yeah, I think bam could be. You're right.
I'd be happy arguing that one in court, I think.
Yeah, I think you'd be fair with that. But there, I suppose, what would be a crunch is always one that's suggested.
Crunch is nice, yeah. But I don't know anyone called Crunch.
Oh, you've not lived. But no, that would be nominative to terrorism if you make crisps. You see what I mean? There are some other great examples out there, but
गुलसनलाई चाहिँ किन पठायो मलाई आरिफलाई चाहिँ आरिफले हान्छ र भने त्यही त गुलसनलाई पठायो हुन्थ्यो
Here comes Sam Curran, who himself bowled a
हाम्रो त यो पनि छ हैन जोफ्रा पनि छ हैन
bowled 2 overs, 1 for 13, which becomes 1 for 14. Offside.
जोरा कि जोरा छ त हाम्रो
Just beginning to put the squeeze on here.
It's amazing how quick stuff escalates now. 14.35 needed. Every dot ball that's going up, at least half a run.
You know how much criticism there was of England's fielding in the Ashes. Here comes full pace delivery from Curran, which has worked down the ground for 1. Well, Phil Salt with that catch. That means England's catch percentage in their T20 internationals of the last 2 years, 84.6, the highest of all full member nations.
Take that. That's been good, hasn't it? I think they fielded well. They've got a couple of plans wrong with the ball, but I think on the whole, Harry Brooks made some really good decisions as captain so far.
54 of 22 required, and pace off it, and the look from the batter towards the umpire at our end of the ground to say, well, that's got to be wide. But no, it's this mix and variation of paces he does so well. Sam Curran.
And reads the game. He understood after that drinks break. It would have been in conjunction with Harry Brook as well. The field that he set and the way that he delivered that off-cutter slow and full outside the off-stump was exactly where the batter wouldn't have wanted to be trying to hit a boundary or a 6. Set the field for it, and it goes safely 20-30 yards inside the boundary to Tom Banton out there, and then you turn the screw. It's that game awareness that's so impressive about Curran.
Look quieter around KD Stadium now. Curran in for the 4th ball of the over. It's gone high over the head of Jofra Archer at short third. The ball you fancy will always win that race with the top spin, and indeed Archer can't stop it. So 4 runs to take the equation to 50 from 20. And an enormous swipe from Lokesh Bam. And the ball will drop down to the ropes at deep third. 135 for 4.
And it's in place, so that can happen. It remains the same.
20 run 50 run यार कम छ.
Curran below us. Brooke shown on the big screen, scrunching his chin.
अर्को चौका भइसक्यो त यहाँ कमेन्टमा देखिसक्यो जाति.
Hands on hips at mid-off. In goes Curran. And this will be whipped down towards fine leg for 4 more. It wasn't too loose, but it was leg-side-ish enough that any bat or pad on it was always going to result in 4. And it is nicely turned away. 139 for 4 back-to-back boundaries, and suddenly 46 from 19 feels a little more manageable.
Still in England's favour, but Harry Brook referenced it already, but doing the Owen Morgan, a couple of back-to-back boundaries, and keeps hold of the ball and makes sure that his bowler talks to him before he delivers the next ball to make sure there's absolute clarity about the plan that's going to be bowled to. There is a change in the field. Harry Brook waving deep square leg. No, he's not. He's saying, Luke Wood, you're not bowling the next over anymore. It's either Archer or Rashid who are both behind square on the offside where that wave was directed.
Final ball of the 17th over to be delivered by Curran. Very good delivery, right in the block. Great big white gauntlets high above his head. At 46 from 18 sees the required rate to 15.33. So they're going to need 3 big overs. And it's whether England looked almost close the game out in this over with Archer bowling something that it looks like it will be Archer. Goes for sub 10, and that should do it.
Yeah, single figures here, then pushes that rate up, and it's definitely the right way to go about it. You look to close games out early. You don't let it get to that last over. Don't leave anything to chance. Jofra Archer, England's premier death bowler of the ones available in this team, you would say, given his experience in World Cups before. Given the opportunity to close this one out, you would imagine he's going to continue with those leg cutters that have been so hard to pick and read for the Nepal batters.
Archer with this straight approach from the far end of the ground, down the leg side it goes, wide signal, the crowd like that. 45 from 18 required. We will bring you this evening a test match, or this afternoon I should say, is a test match special podcast reacting to this game, the early stories from the tournament. You can find that on BBC Sounds and wherever you get your podcasts. Similarly, more live commentary. Well, we're heading to Colombo straight after this for Ireland's first match. Taking on Sri Lanka. Archer bowls into the leg side, 6 I think, and yes, Arif gets hold of it, and belief for these Nepal supporters. 39 needed from 17.
I'm waiting for the speed to come up, but I think that's another leg cutter slower ball, and yes, they've been effective. It was a leg cutting slower ball. You have to intersperse that with something else, otherwise if the ball is always the same pace, the batters can adapt their swing to that change of pace. Jofra Archer just needs to be a bit more unpredictable, even though it's a very good ball and it's worked tonight on the whole. I don't think you can bowl it.
39 from 17. 6 and a first boundary from Arif. Look around, counts the fielders where they are. If you clear them all, that is not where they're fielding. England have got a field of 3 on the leg side, 2 on the off. No worries about over rate. They've been going along at a good pace because of the amount of spin in their attack. And here comes Archer. 7 from the first legitimate ball of this over. Edged, caught. Butler with the catch to his right. And there is the wicket that should, we've said it before, but it should be enough, surely, at this point. As Archer just banged it in quite short and wide, actually, and Butler, as it went sharply to him, he just puffs out his cheeks because it was a sort of one that actually just seemed to get big on him quite quickly. But safe hands from the former England skipper. And Nepal are 146 for 5.
Leg cutter slow ball again, but wide of the off stump. Arif Sheikh just throwing his hands at it. The field was set for that deep extra and a deep point, so inviting the batter to hit out there. No pace on the ball. Definitely there where the batter clearly favours the leg side in the manner that he hit the 6 the previous delivery. Taking it outside of that swinging arc outside the off stump gives the bowler far more margin for error, and it's a lot harder for a batter to hit boundary unless they luckily edge it up over short third or something. But it nestles in Butler's gloves, and another breakthrough. Jofra Archer has his first of the evening. England still wanting to close it out, though.
Sort of one that could easily have gone flying down to the deep third boundary. But in the end, relief from England's point of view that it falls into the gloves of Joss Butler, former captain, who will be a useful lieutenant for Harry Brook and the England brains trust out there. Gulshan's Jar comes to the middle with plenty of experience, 40 T20 internationals, 39 needed from 16 balls. Round the wicket comes Archer to the left-hander, who is flashing through the offside, but only for 1. Fielded out there in the deep. For those wondering what that required rate is, but it's now 15.2. Archer's fought back well from the 6 that was bludgeoned away.
Comes and goes.
Archer, shirt untucked, far end of the ground. A distant figure here at the Wankhede Stadium as Liam Dawson comes trotting up in from
Wide.
fine leg on the boundary. England put deep backward point out there on the ropes. Here comes Archer. This is short and wide, too wide. Again, he looks to vary things. He just doesn't get it quite right.
गुलशन दुईटा छक्का हान्छ रन रेट ठ्याक्क आइपुग्छ
5 विकेट गइसक्यो
विकेट छोड नि दाजु अब यो डु अर डाई सिचुएसनमा हान्नै पर्छ जे गरे नि
It's been a funny old over. This wide 6, wicket 1 wide.
कि साथी धोनी हुनु पर्यो
3 balls left.
एउटा चौका हान्ने पुग्यो के त्यसपछि पो आउँछ भन्ने चाहिँ बोलर
37 needed.
छक्का हान त
15.
धेरै माथि गयो
Nepal,
छक्का हान्नु साथी यहाँ कमेन्ट्री आइसक्यो
massive surprise. Lokesh is on strike. Archer bowls. It's gone a mile up in the air, and it's gone a mile back as well. Almost straight into the president's box. 154 for 5. Nepal need 31 from 14.
Well, excellent shot. Back up over Jofra
साथी
Archer's
यतिसम्म
head.
लग्नु भनेको धेरै ठुलो
Back
कुरो हो
over his
कि
head too many times for a 6 that looks like that.
लोकालिटीको
Again,
गेमै हुँदैन नि
the
दाजु
slower
अब
ball.
नेपाल हो यार
Batter
लोकालिटीको गेमै हुँदैन
able
नि
to just wait for it.
एसिया कपमा
Leg cutters, good revolutions, but it doesn't stick in the pitch, and because it's full of a length and he's bowled a lot of them, so the batters are expecting those slower
अर्को
deliveries.
छक्का हाने
Can wait
दुईटा
for
छक्का
it
हाने
and
कि
hammer it 93 metres. A monster 6.
त्यसरी कहाँ हिँडिरहेको
31 from 14.
दुईटा छक्का हाने
Break
साथी
down to 13.3. Lokesh waits. 17 from 8 for him. Here comes Jofra Archer once more.
13 बलमा
It's a pace on ball. It's gone high in the air. Fielders underneath it, but the ball's got
म
enough
पेजमा
on
हेर्दा
it.
छु नि
It's
साथी लाइभ
6. And Harry Brook will suddenly be very nervous.
Ayo.
25 from
Sathi
13,
over-
and listen to the noise around
आर्चरलाई अझै एउटा ओभर दिउँ न यार
That's an excellent shot. Steps inside the line of the ball.
किन सर्दैन यार यो अलिकति
Jofra Archer bangs it in, and Will Jacks, who was a deep backward square leg, would have had
किन लाइक
flashes of Adelaide coming back through his mind, where he stood on the rope.
13 बलमा 25 त हान्न त मिल्छ त यार
Head, I think it
12 मा
was.
25 हान्न मिल्छ त साथी
As it was going back up over his
अझै
shoulder.
लास्टमा एउटा ओभर बाँकी एक बल बाँकी छ
Backward
अझै
and slower ball
एक बलमा अझै
from
छक्का हान्न
Archer.
त
Goodness me, 25 from 13.
लाइभ हेर्न देऊ
Archer's final ball is coming now. He's been expensive today.
साथी लाइभ
This
ढिलो
over
भन्न
in
तिम्रो
particular.
तेरि हेर्ने हो त
आइसिसीकै लाइभ हेरेको
21 from it.
आइसिसीकै लाइभ
Inside, fielder will stop it before it reaches the
गरेको हो
boundary.
क्या भएन
They'll
होला
push for a second. Could be a run out. No, not quite. 1 run taken. 24 needed from 12.
गरेको भएन क्या मेरो
At
देखि
12 deliveries we've got
अघि
ahead
भर्खर
of us.
मैले हेर्न खोजेँ
We've got overs to be bowled by Luke Wood. Potentially Will Jacks. Sam Curran's still got an over. And Adil Rashid's got an over.
Yeah, it's going to be Wood and Curran, I'd imagine, to try and close this game out for England.
Milan
Wood's going to be
साथीमा अरू
entrusted
गेम
with
पनि
the
हेर्नु पर्यो नि
19th over.
मोबाइल लेभल छ यार
Left arm angle. And England have to keep mixing it up. Now your Yorker if you can. That was an excellent Yorker by Jofra Archer, that very last ball. The first one he's really attempted in those run of deliveries. Now Luke Wood under pressure, brought into the team for his new ball bowling, his potency with that brand new ball. He's now going to have to bowl the 19th over. Very different set of skills.
56% in England's favour, win predictor. I think before the last over it would have been up around 95% probably.
Yeah, it would have been certainly far in England's favour, but it's incredible. But I mean, it's an amazing game, isn't it? 2 balls can completely flip the momentum. The mindset of the players, the confidence that Nepal will have as a result of that. Can England hold their nerve?
चौका चौका लकले
चौध भइसक्यो साथी
Interesting.
Lokesh is 24 off
ओइ
10.
20 रन त हान्न सक्छ बे 11 बलमा यार
Here's Luke Wood scampering away, left arm over. Lokesh waits.
दुईटा
It's
छक्का
gone
हान्छ के भन्छ
over the head of Butler for 4. Top edge.
आयो
And look at those supporters all around us. They're dancing with delight because it's 20 needed from 11. And this is suddenly swinging towards Nepal.
The atmosphere in that state, well, I mean, the whole ground is Nepal fans, but there is a particular section over in the Devetra Pavilion that there's absolute pandemonium in there at the moment.
20 off 11 for the tournament's first upset. Here's Luke Wood. Wide. 19 off 11.
It's the right option, looking to find that wide Yorker. The length was good, the line just off the left arm angle, slipping across past the wide line, but one more off the total. 11 deliveries to go.
It was that 22 run over bowled by Archer. 2 wides in there.
दुईटा वाइड हो
Final 3 balls went for 13.
साथी
How important could that be?
18 रन
Luke Wood
धेरै
again.
एक्साइटेड नहौँ हैन
Runs in, and that will be wide again.
आयो
Length good, line not. 18 needed off 11 balls. Stephen Finn.
आयो
It's
एसएसमा त सपोर्ट
completely
गरेको हो
flipped
साथी
on its head,
इङ्ल्यान्डले
isn't
अब
it?
गर्नु
The
भएन के
Prakash's
गर्नु
curse has worked.
एसएसमा त
ब्रेन्डनलाई
Brendan
चाहिँ सपोर्ट
McCullum and
गरेको
Marcus
एसएसमा
Christopher
सपोर्ट गरेको थियो क्या
not looking as relaxed as they were, as win predictor swings violently in favour of Nepal. 6 from the first legitimate ball of the over.
अगाडि
Luke Wood has to try again. 18 needed from 11. Luke Wood bowls a better ball this time, and he swings and he misses, and it's 18 off 10.
Take a breath. And Brooks just has to try and calm his bowler down in this situation.
Well, it's a good test of
It
captaincy.
is, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah,
there's been
dodgeball
nothing
ball,
wrong with his plans from a captaincy perspective, unless he's
यतिमा
encouraging his
भएन
bowlers in
पर्न
those moments to bowl leg cutters, slower balls. Every single ball, but
ओइ
here is a
साथी
real test. Get
म
your
भन्दिनँ
plans
साथी
right,
गेम
nail them.
18
हेर
from 10.
गेम हेर
Wood is in. It's
Must
got a
have been,
mile up in the air. It might have the distance for a boundary. It does have the distance for a boundary. It's 4. 14 needed from 9, and England are staring.
हाय हाय
Staring
हाय
at what would be,
185 पनि 185 पनि चेन्ज गर्ने भइसक्यो त साथी
in most circumstances, shouldn't derail
Why
at
haven't
all.
you
Given
gone away,
all of the
Nepal,
headlines, given all of the pressure coming into this,
185 पनि चेन्ज गर्ने
there's
भइसक्यो
going to be
भने
many that are waiting for this team to fail. And Nepal need 14 runs from 9 balls to cause England massive headaches.
Well, now Joss Butler is coming up the pitch to slow the game down. The wicket-keeper coming to talk in conjunction with Wood and Brook. And it's now panic stations for England. 9 deliveries to go, 14 runs. A quiet 3 deliveries here changes the conjecture of the game again, but this is absolutely critical now for England to nail a plan and make sure that you execute it.
Stuart Law, the Nepal coach, has got a smile on his face. It will be an even broader one if his side can get over the line. They've never chased this many runs. They've never hit this many runs as those that are required. The 14 from here, from 9 balls, if they are to spring a monster shock. And it would be. Yeah, the game's not what it was 10 years ago, but these are 2-time world champions with the greatest of resources in England.
वाइडै हो साथी वाइड दियो दियो
And with the greatest will in the world.
वाइडै जित्छ क्या हो
As here comes Luke
एउटा
Wood.
नोबल हान्नु नि यार एउटा नोबल हान्नु
Outside the off stump, but it's wide.
अगाडि सरेको क्या
But whatever the planning is, that is not it. 13 needed
हैन
from
साथी
9.
एउटा अब
You
स्क्रिप्टमा
can
साथी
see what
एउटा
he's
वाइड
trying
बल पनि
to
हो
do. He's
के अरे
trying to
नोबल
keep
पनि
the
होला
ball
नि त
out of the
स्क्रिप्टमा
swinging arc, so the deep square leg coming up inside the ring and the long going
आयो
out means that
एउटा नोबल ल
Brook is asking
यो कार हान्न
Wood
खोज्दै
to
चाहिँ
keep
नोबल
that
जान्छ कि
ball
साथी
just inside the wide line, whether it's pace on or pace off, and ask the batter to reach for it outside off stump. But at the moment, with the left arm angle going across, he's not able to find that perfect line, so it's offering more opportunities to score extra balls.
Here's Luke Wood again. It's a delivery which has been clobbered down the ground. Could be a catch. Oh, it's well stopped in the end, but the ball's spinning away with at least 2 having been taken. They'll scramble a third. I think not quite. 11 from 8.
It looked as though there was definitely going to be a run out there at one stage. Both batters wanted to come back for the third because of the misfield. Jack scrambling back towards the boundary. to try and cut that off. You could see, because it was below us for a second, he was thinking about lurching forward and trying to catch that as it dipped towards the ground, but he bailed out and just parried it, managed to stop the ball, but his momentum took him beyond it. So the batters come back for 2, not 3.
Lokesh has got 34 from 14. Luke Wood running in again. 11 needed from 8 balls. Wood in, smack down the ground. Jacks has work to do, does it very well indeed. Really good work from Will Jacks, because it was hit so hard. 10 needed from 7.
Yeah, good fielding by Jacks.
Last ball.
Probably 5 yards or so in from the rope there and herring to his left.
Last ball
as it was thrashed down the ground.
But they're now just a couple of edges away from...
Well, one edge, you'd say. One edge, 10 from 7. It's an edge and a few singles, and you're home and dry. And Nepal are heavy favourite. They should be and are heavy favourites. 3 wides in this over. It's going to be at least a 9-ball over.
The last 30 balls, 58 for 3. England have done what they needed to do in terms of wicket taking. They have not in terms of discipline with the extras column. A left-handed Gulshan, who's only faced 1 ball, is on strike as Luke Wood comes running in to conclude the over, and he bowled him. But it was a bit of a free hit, that, and he's swung hard, missed, and it's going to be the equation of 10 needed from 6. And everyone can breathe just briefly as we wait to see which way this one's swinging.
Yeah, well done, Luke Wood, to get out of that with a single and a wicket from those last 2 balls. Even anything other than that outcome could have been absolutely critical for Sam Curran facing these last 6 deliveries from a bowling perspective. England, they're making us nervous. I would imagine the England fans, people listening, watching at home. This would be a humongous upset.
It really, really would. And England, they can afford it in terms of the tournament, just about. But it's the narrative that worries me. Do they go into their shell? Do they start the panic? Does, you know, all of these things that are very hard to control. Joss Butler is directing traffic. Harry Brooks doing the same. Adil Rashid also pointing and waving. Trotting in from deep backward point.
They only had 3 inside the circle for a second.
Oh, don't. Fingernails being bitten everywhere. The roar of excitement replaced by the hush of trepidation. 10 needed from 6. Here comes Sam Curran. Oh, swing and a miss. Good bowl. 10 needed from 5. A shake of the head from Lokesh. It's a little knuckle ball. I was actually looking at the replay from the Luke Wood dismissal, but 10 from 5. I mean, even 10 from 3, you're still thinking they're well in. But a dot ball to start the over. England have managed to get a dot, a wicket and a dot in the last 3. And Nepal need 10 from 5. It's amazing how quiet the full Wankhede Stadium can be. Curran, floodlights beaming, is in. It's been chipped in the air into the offside. Only 1 run will be available. 9 from 4. Curran will be on strike.
That was a horrible throw-in from the fielder out there as well. Joss Butler had to clean that up calmly there as the wicket-keeper, because that could have gone for overthrows, which would have got the dangerous or the more dangerous batter back on strike as well. But excellent from Curran. Good execution, good calmness under pressure. You never get the impression that he's panicking in these situations. You never feel as though, it'd be like the analogy of a duck. There would be a lot going on under the surface, but you can never tell when you're watching.
If you've ever wondered what an impression of a duck from Stephen Finn looks like, use your
pitter-patter.
Yeah, use your imagination. Almost there was a sort of bit of the bongo drums going on. I enjoyed that. A tie, by the way, would take us to a super over. 9 needed from 4. Right-handed Karen KC is on strike. As in comes Curran, and that's well bowled. Dinked down the ground for 1. Lokesh will want the strike. 8 needed from 3. 2 boundaries. Doesn't matter how they come.
No, an outside head. I mean, Nepal would take anything. They'd take it off someone's bum, off a helmet. They would take 8 runs however they come. But here, England, Sam Curran and Harry Brook at the moment, marshalling this over very well. Excellent execution again from Curran to get that Yorker right on the money.
No matter how hard he tries, the DJ doesn't need to do this. It's actually much more dramatic having no noise around this place. I think sometimes the booming PA can rather take away from the drama than add to it. It's like goal music. Don't think you need it. 8 from 3 runs. Lokesh on strike on 36.
Cool.
Curran has had his conversation, his little conflab with Harry Brook, who stands now long off. We've got a long off, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square and deep cover. As here comes Sam Curran, 8 needed from 3. Curran bowls, clipped into the leg side, out towards the deep. On the bounce, it'll be collected. They'll turn for a second. Throw comes in, they'll get that second. 6 needed from 2. Great running.
Great running, but also great bowling. The Yorker is right on the money from Sam Curran. He's not tried any slow balls, he's not tried any fancy this over. He's just trying to nail the hole. Bigger boundary out towards the leg side as well. The leg stump line of that ball mean it can only be flipped out towards the deep mid-wicket fence. But good running keeps the in-batter. Lokesh, who has 38 from 18, some lusty blows from him on strike. 2 deliveries to go.
7 balls since we've seen a boundary. 6 here from the remaining, well, 6 however they come, but a 6 here wins the game. 6 needed from 2. Lokesh looks the calmest man in the place. Rests, number 1 on his back, with his bat on his right shoulder. And Sam Curran gets a little pat on the back from Tom Banton, who will now trot over towards long on. It is 6 needed from 2. Curran in the white boots at the far end, left arm over. He's faced big moments in his career. Not sure he expected one of the bigger ones to be at this situation, but here we are. 6 needed from 2. In comes Sam Curran. Full delivery, worked up towards long on. He's going to turn down the single. It's a wise decision. 6 needed from 1. And what a very good over this has been from Sam Curran. 6 from 1 ball will win the game. If Curran nails it here, England get over the line.
Yeah. Harry Brook will be giving Sam Curran some of the biggest hugs at the end of this if he does manage to close this out, because it has been an outstanding final over. Butler and Curran at the moment discussing plans and tactics, fields. You have to think where is the most likely place that a 6 is going to be hit, and you have to protect those areas, protect those regions of the ground.
Lokesh with 38 needed. Forgive me, 6 needed from 1. He's got 38 from 19. This partnership came together with 10 required, and as England have managed to just about swing the game surely in their momentum, but it is 1 hit. It's 1 hit, and that's the point. When you get to this point, it's who holds their nerve.
Yeah, and I think this is the right option by Harry Brook, who is the field now is there's a long off, a long on, a deep straight mid-wicket, a deep square mid-wicket, and a deep backward square leg. So that is the portion of the ground where a 6 could be hit. We've seen 6s hit over the offside, but the line that Curran is going to try and bowl to hit it up over the offside for a 6 is very unlikely. So there's a huge empty space out on the offside. Curran will be looking for that leg stump Yorker again.
Here we go. 6 needed from 1. Sam Curran into bowl, and it's been hit away down the ground, on the ground, crucially, and England win the game. My goodness me. It has been thrilling, and how big to those runs scored by Will Jacks at the back end of innings number 1 look. I mean, goodness. Sam Curran with 5 from the over, has done his captain the most monstrous favour, with England winning by 4 runs. Nepal, they lost by 1 run against South Africa in the last tournament. They've lost by another single-figure margin against England in this one. We have been richly entertained, but those headlines that might have been flashing across Harry Brook's mind, the pressure that would have been put on England, the headlines again for the wrong reasons. But they do get there. Crucially, England get the win, as much for their own sanity
and our sanity.
And England win by 4 runs. It was not exactly as relaxed as it could have been, but you have to say immense credit to Curran for bowling the over that England needed him to. 5 from it, and England win.
Yeah, that was outstanding holding of nerve by Sam Curran at the very end there, opting to keep it simple. Yorker's pace on at base of the stumps, he nailed every single one in that last over. And Harry Brook will be so grateful for that, because as you say, it would have been so easy for minds to digress towards